Ladies and gentlemen, I am back, and it's good to be back. I hope all of you are doing well in this rather busy midweek evening of this late autumn. Today, Lincoln's Inn Members Association of Bangladesh, in association with Legal Voice Foundation, Adalat TV, and BRICS Global, we are here with another of our live events, and this time it's unprecedented, and this time it's unique for the fact that this time we are voting, we are supporting for Bangladesh. I'll be explaining it in a while. As you have already know that in this era of division and classification based on various attainments and various choices, we advocate for unity, love, brotherhood, mentorship, representation, and guidance in total. And this particular show of ours today is of no difference. We are here regarding the Bar Representation Committee election of 2020 of the Honorable Society of Lincoln's Inn. We will be having our guest, who is the one and only candidate from Bangladesh this time. I'll be introducing him in a while, and we will not be introducing our usual sponsors and our usual organizations today. I am, for those who are listening to us newly, I am Faisal Mahmood Anabil. I am a barrister of this Honorable Society of Lincoln's Inn. I'm an internationally accredited civil and commercial mediator. I'm an associate counsel of CIADR. I'm the general secretary of YCIADR, and I work as a legal counsel in one of the renowned group of companies in Bangladesh. Now, without further ado, it's an immense pleasure of mine to introduce our very own Barrister Rifat Rahman, the only candidate for this Lincoln's Inn Bar Representation Committee election of 2020. Now, I initially wanted to introduce him by myself, but I decided that it's actually better to give the floor to our one and only candidate, Barrister Rifat Rahman. Barrister Rifat Rahman, a very warm welcome to you. Without further ado, if you'd kindly introduce yourself first.
Thank you, Mr. Anabil. It's a wonderful opportunity for me, and thank you very much for inviting me to this platform today. Thanks to Legal Voice Foundation and Lincoln's Inn Alumni Association of Bangladesh, LIMAB, and the organizers. So a very thanks to all of you. So I was called to the bar in the year 2017 by the Honorable Society of Lincoln's Inn. Soon after I came back to Bangladesh and I joined Mahmood Company as a full-time corporate and commercial law associate. I've been working as an adjunct faculty at the London School of Legal Studies South, and I'm also an associate arbitrator of ADR ODR International. So that is what my very small introduction is.
Now, Barrister Rifat Rahman, I actually couldn't resist. It's probably better to start on a personal note. I remember this one fine morning, sometime in late July of 2017, where, fortunately, the both of us were called to the bar by this Honorable Society of Lincoln's Inn on the very same day.
Right. Unfortunately, yes, yes, Honorable, go ahead.
And fortunately, since we have been colleague during my teaching days in one of the renowned institutions that you're still a part of. We have been colleagues during our work, and we are still colleagues as far as our works are concerned. Now, my starting question would be, how does it feel from that? I mean, for the both of us actually, and particularly for you, in almost a bit more than 3 years, how does it feel from there to here?
Yes, Anabil, I still remember that one fine morning in July. I saw a man with a beard, not with a full beard, I would say, with a very little beard, but with a flower on his blazer. You were standing, and I was really wondering that why is someone looking different than us, because we were wearing a collar and a band, but someone else was taking a call with not a yellow tie, a light yellow tie. So in some other words, it's called a baby yellow tie as well. So you were looking completely different, and that was the first time, possibly, although doing the bar for a year together, that was the first time we met, and since then we have known each other for 3 years now. And our journey in this profession as called Barrister of the Lincoln's Inn has been actually 3 years, just a bit more than 3 years, and it's in very short, it's very amazing because I actually didn't know what life where would I end up or how would my life take a turn after I was called by the bar. So things have rapidly changed. Of course, the degree, of course, the title, of course, the professional training which I have received during my bar, both at my law school and by attending several competitions, by participating in several competitions and attending several advocacy trainings at the Honorable Society of Lincoln's Inn, has been amazing. This is helping me all throughout in my small life of practicing as a corporate and commercial associate. So things are different. So I am constantly changing, adapting to the new changes, constantly learning and trying to bring back what I have learned during my time at the bar and into practice and into reality.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. This story about my golden tie and the flower, I actually discussed it in my last session, and this today we're making it crisp and we're making it to the point. I'd actually keep the story for any of our next session where we will have a bit more luxury in terms of time. Now, let us go bang right on. I'd like to ask you, tell us about this election and tell us about the post that you're running for.
Right. Thank you. So basically, the Lincoln's Inn has a bar representation committee. Now, this committee is actually plays an important part in the affairs of the Lincoln's Inn. So this the main objectives of the committee are to provide representation on behalf of those who have been called to the bar by the inn and who have not been elected masters of the bench, that is, masters of the hall. So the committee, since January 2020, it has around 28 members, but it does reflect the diverse membership of the inn. So this committee actually plays an active role in managing the inn. So, for an example, it responds to the bar council proposals, and the committee deals with the strategic issues of the management of the inn's property, its finances, its investment, and especially its education, admissions, and scholarships. So this election that I am currently running for, it's divided into four different categories. But the category where I'm contesting is membership with members with no practicing certificate in England and Wales. Since I was called to the bar and I came back immediately to Bangladesh, and I didn't do my pupillage in the UK, so that's why I do not have a practicing certificate in the UK, in England and Wales to be more appropriate. Uh, and that is what I'm contesting for this year.
Right, thank you very much. We will actually go to your election manifesto in details. Certainly reminds me of the Communist Manifesto, which we have no connection to, just for historical references. Now, before going into that, I'd like to actually ask you, in order to make it somewhat relevant for the practicing barrister here in Bangladesh, or for the ones who are not practicing in England and Wales, as you have appropriately mentioned, that how and why is Lincoln's Inn so important for barristers around the globe practicing in their respective jurisdiction, the non-practicing barristers to be precise, and they what the inn actually offers.
So for non-practicing barristers in particular, for practicing barristers living in the UK, of course, they do have direct access to the inn and participate in regular trainings, regular CPD events, then regular regular workshops organized by the inn around the year. But for those practicing, especially members does not have practicing certificate and who's living outside of London, because of the geographical location, I would say access to these things can actually get sometimes difficult. But Lincoln's Inn do have a series of events going on over the year, which definitely this members can do attend. But as I have said, this members who doesn't have any practicing certificate in the UK right now, and especially if they live outside of the UK, it's difficult for them to attend unless they have any associations or any alumni associations in their own country. So working as part of the inn closely to actually the inn has been attempting to expand their services as I have learned from their activities and from their website. So very much looking forward to it.
Right. Thank you so much. Now let me go. Allow me to go a bit back because Lincoln's Inn, historically, considering the subcontinental context, has been one of the most important inns, and it has been predominantly popular uh, in comparison with its counterparts. Now, we have had our national and subcontinental heroes from this particular inn. We have had predominant, significant, and prudent practitioners from this particular inn. So the heritage and its importance and its value and its appeal to the lay people certainly has not diminished at all over the years, and it has only increased for an institution that has been that was started or that was created back in 1200s. Now, what I'm actually asking you is that in terms of this representation, it has been unheard of, or particularly we actually haven't really heard as far as us are concerned as to anyone actually applying for this particular election and any sort of representation in regards to Lincoln's Inn from Bangladesh. Will you kindly tell us anything about that?
Right. So regarding the representation in the Lincoln's Inn, so in relation to the presence or in relation to the representation on behalf of the members with no practicing certificates, in particular, uh, they there are various opportunities how uh, the members who doesn't have a practicing certificate can take benefits from. So, uh, before going on to my formal manifesto or what I aim to do if I'm elected, upon consideration, of course, of all the members of the inn, members of the hall, then these inn has been cordial with been helpful for all the members all through. So it's very open to everyone. It's directly accessible, and as you have learned, as you have just said, that we have our role models, our heroes from the inn. So we have been closely following, and especially if I can recall when I first walked into the inn back in 2014, and when I became a barrister in 2017, as in I started my course in 2016, and I became a barrister in 2017, I was a completely changed person because of the training, because of the dinners we attended, because of the people we had access to, because of the networking events the inn organized. And I can still recall the tailored one-to-one sessions that the Lean Inn provided in the residential weekends. So those are being extremely helpful all through since the Lean Inn has been in close contact with the people even after they have been called by the bar.
Right. Thank you very much. Now, before coming back to the relevance uh, of your successful election of your successful uh, representation of by you in the Lincoln's Inn, I'd like to ask you about the main event or the more important thing for today, which is your election manifesto. Please do tell us about it in detail.
Right. Thank you. So I, at the time of making my application, to be honest, I was thinking that I have had plans while I was a student, in particular, and while I was a student member of the inn. I have had plans about a lot of things. I was thinking that what I used to think that what will I actually do, or how will I actually avail these trainings? How will I actually avail these workshops if I go back to my country? Because I always had the intention to come back and practice in Bangladesh. So in Bangladesh, if I'm elected, I would say so. The primary reason what I'm standing for today is representing these overseas members with no practicing certificate. So how can I actually represent? For example, my biggest and the best thing to initially start off with would be to pursue the Lincoln's Inn to effectively communicate between the inn and the overseas members, so that the overseas members are actually informed about these educational and CPD events, trainings, workshops, and professional networking events that the Lincoln's Inn organizes. Now, of course, a newsletter is being issued almost every fortnightly basis, and especially monthly basis by the Lincoln's Inn. But my main focus would be to conduct regional educational and CPD events, training, and workshops, if the inn permits. Of course, if the my focus would be to pursue the inn to organize these regional education on CPD events so that non-practicing barristers or barristers who does not have practicing certificates based on their geographical location can actually attend these UK-based events. So how they can do it? By actually asking or by actually requesting the in or by actually pursuing the in to organize in their jurisdictions or at least in regional jurisdictions. Now, the other thing could be basically creating awareness of the detailed requirements of pupillage application for overseas members who are no more in the UK. As you know, if once you're called by the bar, you have a certain time limit between which you can apply for the pupillage in the UK. So a lot of the members of the IN do have these problems that since they are not in close contact with the IN or with their course anymore, and since it becomes a lot of time since they have finished their course, it can sometimes become difficult for them to keep up with how the pupillage applications are moving on. So one of the manifesto that I have is to create awareness of how people can actually have access to these pupillage applications. Also, for student members who will be joining the IN, one of the things that the Lincoln's Inn provides is a very big amount of scholarship. So scholarships are available by the Lincoln's Inn. Scholarships are provided by the Lincoln's Inn. So while pursuing their BPTC in the UK, my intention is to promote how the scholarships would be available to any new student members who will eventually become a member of the Lincoln's Inn. Now, regarding bridging the gap between the IN and the barristers associations, my goal is to pursue the Lincoln's Inn. My manifesto is to pursue the Lincoln's Inn to conduct and organize regional events in Southeast Asia, such as in collaboration with the IN and the different barristers associations and alumni associations in the Southeast Asian region. As I have said, that even if we are not attending or even if we are not going to the UK, even if we are unable to go to the UK, how can we actually attend and keep us updated with the trainings and the workshop that Lincoln's Inn organizes? And lastly, of course, I want to become the spokesperson of all the members who do not have practicing certificates in the UK. So, for an example, my main motivation would be to actually convey to the IN any issues faced by student members as well as other members who do not have practicing certificates by ensuring that whatever issues that they are facing and whatever problems they might come up with, these are acknowledged and taken into account by the IN.
Right, thank you. Thank you very much for your detailed description of your manifesto. And as far as my question in regards to relevance of your representation in terms of the non-practicing barristers practicing here in Bangladesh, this is certainly very helpful. And as I was mentioning the other day, perhaps to you as well, and I've also had this query within myself, because this pandemic actually has seen newer ways, and the in itself as well went out of its conventional ways and started to take things online and started to take sessions online as well. Now, you have fantastically mentioned as to these events that you plan to organize, if possible, here in collaboration with the IN, perhaps through proper measures and everything. What I actually would ask you, and I think I speak for a number of other people, considering the fact that we have been realizing the importance of CPD, or continuous professional development, lately, very importantly as well. I would say that whether, if at all it's possible, through online platforms, of course, that these events can be made accessible in a more frequent basis and in a more easier basis for the non-practicing barristers around the world, so that there's actually more connections with the IN, and certainly, which is more important, the chance of CPD increases significantly, and awareness about international law increases as well.
Yeah, of course, of course. Fairly speaking, what I've learned in my 2 years of practicing in the chambers and 3 years of practicing in the chambers is I actually have, while I was working, I was just working. I was working 6 days a week. I was working because for the purpose of actually getting the work done. But to actually learn, that is the time, that is during the pandemic, although it did not come as a blessing. But for me, this came as a blessing only to the extent that I could actually utilize the time to study. Now, I participated in various trainings by different and variety of institutions worldwide because I was sitting in the same old chair. My There was no requirement to keep my cameras on, but I was actually getting the updates from every corners of the world, almost every corners of the world. So, although the pandemic is on and it's possibly maybe it's a new normal, but this is very much doable because it's none other than the Honorable Society of Lincoln's Inn, especially the inn. If these things are more and more organized, I believe all the members and all the student members as well will have more opportunities to actually the uh, avail the activities offered by the inn.
Ladies and gentlemen, please do keep on listening because we actually have a surprise guest appearance just after a while. But for now, before calling our guest, I'd like to ask perhaps one of the most important thing, which is the voting process.
Right,
By Rifat.
right. So thank you, Anabil. So regarding the voting process, this was bit this is not bit difficult because what usually the Lincoln's Inn have done is Lincoln's Inn, in collaboration with the CES, has issued or has released a mail in the official email or personal email which the member has used to register with the Lincoln's Inn, and the message or the email is delivered to the member's email address with the subject the Honorable Society of Lincoln's Inn 2020 election for the Bar Representing Committee of Lincoln's Inn. Now, the first thing is if you can't find the email, you can just check in your spam or your junk folder because one of my friends he had it in his junk folder. And then this email body contains an unique link, which, if you click, will open a new window, which would eventually take you to the voting page. And in the voting page, you will get 4 categories that are open for this year. And for instance, I am voting. For an instance, one is the member with no practicing certificate in England and Wales. So you can click on that, you can select the category, and you can choose the candidate of your choice. So you will have the opportunity to choose one candidate, or actually more than one, depending on your preference. So once you go to that website, once you click that link itself has all the details like how you can choose and how you can set your preference. Now, to cast your vote, you need to drag and drop the candidate's name in order of your preference in the vote preference list on the right hand side. If you're using a phone to vote at this stage, then you might have to fill up the boxes that will appear in your mobile phone with numeric text. So whichever you are using, if you're using a computer, you'll have to drag and drop. If you're using a phone, then you'll just have to fill in up with numeric value according to your preference. So if you're using a computer, you can rearrange the preference order by dragging and dropping the names in the vote preference list as you think fit. Now, once you have made your selections, you may click on the next page button and then click submit, and your voting will be done. But one of the thing which I was aware or I came to know after the voting was released, or after the voting platform was opened from 16th October, was that a lot of senior members in Bangladesh in particular did not receive the email because they have been practicing for long. Possibly their email got outdated, or possibly the records are not updated. So if you have not received the email, then you may send your name, your call year, your current email address, and your updated email ID to elections@lincolnsinn.org.uk. So it's elections@lincolnsinn.org.uk to basically update your records with the inn. And of course, the inn will automatically provide you with the voting link to vote.
Barrister Rifat Rahman, thank you for this elaborate description. If dear viewers, if any of you have found it a bit too difficult to follow, let me assure you it's not difficult really at all as long as you receive the email. Everything else after that is basically self-explanatory. You just need to find the candidate of your choice, and Barrister Rifat Rahman is actually appearing for a non-practicing barrister, with the category that actually comes at the beginning if you're voting it, if you're using a phone. Furthermore, I believe there will be adequate amount of instructions in the social media post of Barrister Rifat Rahman as well.
Yes.
For any other queries or for any other difficulties in terms of voting, because it is your right as a member of this in whoever you vote for. Please do keep in touch with Barrister Rifat Rahman or any of the fellow barristers, because it is your right, and as contrary to any recent perception, voting is a very important part of democracy, and it still remains as one of the cornerstones of modern civilization. Now, without further ado, and without straying away from the topic in hand, it is a distinct pleasure of ours to be able to call Barrister Gazi Farhad Reza, who is a advocate of the Honorable Supreme Court of Bangladesh, who is the founding president of Legal Voice Foundation, who's the founding president of Lincoln's Inn Association of Bangladesh as well. And if I keep on mentioning his engagements, unfortunately, I'm pretty sure we would surpass the time frame for today. Now, without further ado, let me hand it over to our very own Barrister Gazi Farhad Reza Bhaiya.
Thank you, Anabil, for your nice and sweet introduction. Obviously, it does have a limitation what I do. It does have a limitation on everything as usual. I did not want to appear because this is Rifat's show today, actually. But I want to let everyone know that it is because of Anabil's insistence I had to come. And he had some particular question. He said that he wanted to ask me some questions. I also thought that the question is important in terms of supporting Rifat and in this election and what leadership and all this and there's things. But this is not my program. Obviously, it's Anabil's program. So I am handing back the program to Anabil.
Well, thank you very much. Our question is actually twofold. Now, firstly, I would say that we both are a relatively junior member of this fraternity. You, on the other hand, fortunately and alhamdulillah, through your hard work, is a relatively senior, successful member, achieving and seeing a lot. Now, what we actually wanted to know from you is the importance of unity, brotherhood, representation, and guidance in this profession as a whole, and in regard to Lincoln's Inn as well, considering the fact that we are no stranger to the difficulties and the perils of this profession and the long hours that it entails.
Now, of course, and I just wanted to say, and this is very simple things, we need to understand the actual definition of leadership. Election means selecting a representative. It says it all. It says representative, not your leader. You do not select your leader. You select your representative. And who are the representatives? Who want to sacrifice their time and energy to represent and take the responsibility. So that the whole concept of leadership is not leading. It's about taking responsibility. And if we change our mindset, then this election becomes very nice and is good. And that it also helps the person to help others. It also helps the others to go to that person who took the responsibility. It eases the tension between. That's really important, and we need to. And Lincoln's Inn teaches us really well. All brothers, all practitioners of our fraternity, we fight a lot in the courtrooms, but outside the courtrooms, it's probably the best thing that we do, that we go outside and then we talk like brothers and friends. That's really important, and I guess that's the whole spirit of it, and that's really important. And another thing I want to say is the importance and need for professional networking, and I guess Rifat will agree with me. You just talk. I was listening to you. You were talking about this importance of networking and your intention to have arrange networking events in Dhaka or in connection with London, and that is very important, I guess. I think Anabil has left us, or I came back, but then with a blank screen. And
it should not be blank now. Ladies and gentlemen, and our special guest and our guest for today, my sincere apologies. I've previously mentioned so many times, that I equate this city of ours as Gotham. As we all know that we are now going through a bit of an elimination process in terms of the overhead cables, and I think that has costed a bit of an internet disruption. My apologies.
No,
Thank you.
I have done my part, by the way, Anabil, while you were away. I
Yes,
said
yes,
what I
yes.
had to say. So
Thank you, thank you,
that
thank you so very much. But we can't let you go yet. I have one last question for you, and which is that from our perspective in the first 3 years, as I've always mentioned in my posts and in my writings, that the first few years and everything. Now, fortunately, through your dedication and your hard work, you have actually surpassed this first few years. Now, what I actually wanted to ask you is that how important do you think is the role of Lincoln's Inn? I've actually covered this question to a certain extent from Barrister Rifat's perspective, but now I want your perspective on this. That how important do you think the role of Lincoln's Inn is in terms of a practicing lawyer anywhere outside England and Wales throughout their career?
right. I mean, for me, as Rifat said, for me, Lincoln's Inn experience really helped. I learned a lot. I learned how to sit with someone who drinks alcohol when I don't drink. That's really important. In Bangladesh, if you we is very alcohol is a prohibited thing, but in Lincoln's Inn it is allowed. But we don't drink. So what we do, there is a ways how you can sit together and it's still the tolerance. It teaches us tolerance. Tolerance is very important in any society to have peaceful life. You see. So that's I think I would say this is very important for me. And in Bangladesh, we have formed this association of Lincoln's Inn members. And we thought, Jay, it's very important to get together and networking. It also to facilitate others and help others as well to sit and talk and maintain our networking and remember our experiences as you just started this conversation of having how you guys met in Lincoln's Inn and all these experiences. It is the experience of life, I guess. Okay, I don't want to talk more. I think we could go back to Rifat.
Yes. We will be, but we would actually. Yeah.
Sorry,
if you just allow me 1 minute. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Please go ahead.
Right. Barrister Farhad. Now, throughout all of your ventures and throughout all of your posts and everything, we have seen you as an avid advocate of unity, representation, guidance, perseverance, and leadership. If you'd have one last advice or good wishes or blessing per se for Barrister Rifat Rahman.
Bro, just be yourself. You are smart enough to win this election. Best of luck.
Now, Barrister Rifat Rahman, we are actually, thank you very much, Barrister Farhad. Now, Barrister Rifat Rahman, we are actually almost at the end of our time, but we will actually give this floor open to you on one particular note, which is that you know that we have this association in terms of the members of Lincoln's Inn as well. If you'd like to share your plans in that regard and any of the final things that you can say to the prospective voters of yours and to the public in general, please.
Right. So just to add up what Farhad Bhai was saying in particular about the networking events. So when I was doing my bar, I actually had no idea. I actually tried to win cases for the brief that I used to receive during my advocacy sessions. So that was the networking events. That was the networking events which I participated in, and from there I had the judges' experience. I learned from the judges directly. I learned from the practicing barristers over there directly, and I could actually use that lesson which I learned from there now in my real life. That is, you can't absolutely always win the case for your client, but you can give the best for your client and you can act in the best interest of your client by every means. Not necessarily always you'll have to win. You have to accept that you might lose, but you need to make sure that you lose with 100%, not with 99%. So, anyways, regarding the extension of the extension of the Lincoln's in Bangladesh, definitely one of the plans, if I'm elected, would be to formally have a Lincoln's Inn's presence in Bangladesh through the organizations that are already present or that has already been established in Bangladesh. So having a Lincoln's Inn representation in Bangladesh is one of the things, of course, because a lot of our senior members of the bar, of the Supreme Court bar, and our judiciary, and our also our advocates, is that we have a number of barristers practicing in Bangladesh, but of course, creating more opportunities to how they can actually affiliate or collaborate with the Lincoln's Inn and update themselves with the global training actually organized by the Inn is, of course, within my is one of my full intention that I intend to do if I am elected. That is to pursue Lincoln's Inn to progress in this regard. Now, regarding the voters, of course, you have your full preference to vote. It's your vote. You have the full right to vote. The manifesto is there, everyone's manifesto. You can actually browse and see all the member statement while you are voting, either from your phone or from your desktop. You can go through the manifestos or member statements one by one, and it is up to you completely who to choose. But for me, if I am elected by the votes of the members of the Lincoln's Inn, it's not only the members who do not have a practicing certificate or not, it's actually all the members of the Lincoln's Inn. If I'm elected by the votes of all the members of the Lincoln's Inn, of course, the category that I am elected for would be my preference. And then, of course, the other committees, subcommittees of the bar representation committee in the Inn would be to whichever committee I will be assigned to. I would be assigned to. I'll have my full. I'll have my full support. I'll try to engage whatever subcommittees I'll be assigned to with the other bar associations in the Southeast Asian region in particular, and also
a little clarification on that to the viewers around the globe, which is that this vote actually counts. The prospective voters are actually barristers across the globe who is a member of this Honorable Society of Lincoln's Inn. So if we could actually have a one-liner from you, considering the time crunch, in regards to your international prospective voters or your international peers, perhaps, rather than the barristers here.
Right. Regarding the international voters, of course, while we were students, while I was doing my LLB, while I was doing my LLM, I've made friends, several friends who are now practicing barristers in the UK. There are not only in the UK, they are spread all across through the globe. I have received their full support already. So I'm hopeful, I'm very much hopeful that my friends spread throughout the globe will have their full belief in me. And hopefully they will put me in one of their preference whilst voting.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, we're almost at the end of our show, and thank you for your time in this busy weekday afternoon and this late autumn, Tuesday, which is midweek, and certainly the week is yet to end, and the weekend is far away. But as we have been talking about the fact that it is one of the very important election of one of the oldest and one of the most important and one of the most popular inn of the world, please do cast your vote. This is an appeal to all the fellow barristers here and across the globe. Democracy, no matter how flawed it is the best we have in lieu of any other proper alternative. Please do cast your vote, and in terms of your preference, you have your full preference. You have heard from our candidate from Bangladesh, Barrister Rifat Rahman. You have heard his manifesto. You can see it in the Lincoln's Inn website as well. And let's just hope that democracy wins and it brings something great for barristers across the world. From the Honorable Society of Lincoln's Inn. With that, this is Barrister Faisal Mahmood Anabil, your host, signing off. Let us meet in another episode.
And also, thank you very much to Farhad Bhai and Anabil for enabling me to come to this platform today and speak. So I actually should have done this long back, but I wanted to keep this for the very last. That is, thank you very much for making a floor for me to speak.
Yeah, one last appeal from me is that hashtag vote for Rifat 2020.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.